Funding for Schaefer-Ellis is provided by
Squarespace, the sponsor of today's video. Hello friends. Today's video is going to be rather different than usual. Usually, I talk to you about, analyze, or rank pre-existing pieces of art. But instead, I will be recounting to you my own original pieces of art that my friends and I produced, based on pre-existing pieces of art. It's fanfiction. I'm gonna read you some fanfics we made. But there's a special twist. You see, we didn't just randomly decide to become fanfic writers one day. We actually started playing this pretty cool browser game called Frantic Fanfic, which you too can play at home at franticfanfic.com. No, this video is not sponsored by them. I mean, you can tell that at the beginning. It's sponsored by insert sponsor here. But yeah, I'm not getting paid to tell you that Frantic Fanfic is a ton of fun. The rules are simple. Each player types in 5 fictional characters, who then get shuffled around. The player is then presented with 5 random characters the other people wrote down, and they pick 2 of them to start writing a fanfic about. They also give you some simple prompts to get you started, but you can ignore those. I usually do. From there, you just go ahead and start writing a story that features these 2 characters interacting. But here's the kicker. After a certain amount of time, the beginning of your fanfic is then sent to another player, who continues where you left off while you start writing the middle of someone else's fic. The fics are then shuffled one last time, and then a third player writes the ending, leading to a nutty, usually not at all cohesive fanfic that goes in all sorts of crazy directions the original writer probably never intended. This is actually how the Star Wars sequel trilogy was written, except they didn't have a third player, so J.J. Abrams had to write the ending himself. Oh well, I'm sure he did a good job. I also have selective amnesia. We've been playing Frantic Fanfic since 2022, and we saved a ton of our favorite fics over the years to our Discord server. Eventually, however, I really started to think, why are these dumb, terrible fanfics that bring us so much joy just sitting on the virtual shelf collecting dust? Wouldn't it be fun to share these stupid little stories we made with the world? And so, I decided that's just what I'd do. I scoured our old records and found like 17 of these things I really liked. But for the purposes of this video, let's make it an anthology of 3 stories. And if you guys like this video and it does well enough, let me know if you want to see more, because you better believe I have more of these to share. I'm not just gonna read them to you, however. They will be brought to life with the deft editing hand of my boy Goop Videos. You remember that one Grievous and Sid April Fool's Day video we made that one time? Yeah, it's gonna be edited like that. Okay, let's begin with the first tale. That being Megamind vs. Omni-Man, Dawn of Music. A crossover where Omni-Man and Megamind meet. Like, examples of what this video is gonna be like really don't get more straightforward than this. Now, the 3 acts of this were written by the following people in order. The first act was written by me, the second act was written by my girlfriend, Jess from Lavender Whale, and the third act was written by my friend, Jonathan, who you might remember from that clip in the Mario Kart 8 video where I sniped him with a bob-omb from like 50 feet away. Honestly, it's like the sickest thing I've ever done in my entire life. So, without further ado, here is the story. Megamind was at a convention. But not just any convention. This was a convention for people who murdered superheroes. I did it, he yelled. I killed Metro Man, and now all that's left is for me to conquer the Earth. Just then, another convention attendee crashed down behind him. You don't seem to understand, the figure said. Earth isn't yours to conquer. Oh, great golly shitballs! Exclaimed Megamind. It's Omni-Man! Minion, do something! Don't worry, sir. I got this. Minion pressed a button on his suit. Omni-Man chuckled. What does that button do? Suddenly, Minion's suit exploded on Omni. Yeah, sometimes we run out of time before we can finish a sentence, but that's what the next person's for. Everything so far was written by me, but now here's Act 2, written by Jess. Man, except he was totally fine because he's a Viltrumite. Duh. Dehydration Ray! Megamind shouted. I swear this was written last October, way before the Doom Syndicate came out. That's why it's called the Dehydration Ray in the fic. You gotta believe me. Anyway, Dehydration Ray, Megamind shouted, shooting the ray that turned Omni-Man into a dehydrated cube. You did it, said Cecil in breathless disbelief. By God, that actually worked. He's finally defeated. Young Blue Man, may I present you with a Presidential Medal of Honor? Ha 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 ha! You see that, Metrocity? All of you who told me I would never amount to anything are wrong! I own a piece of metal with symbolic value now! Cool, man. I'll drink to that, said Music Man, who got there late. Ah, dang it. My soda's gone flat. And it's warm. Gross. Oh hey, a free ice cube. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. Okay, time for Jonathan's Act 3 finale. No! Omni-Man immediately burst out and killed Cecil with one slap. Megamind was just barely able to teleport out of harm's way. Music Man, who was just here for the free food, was wondering who the heck this new guy was. He was clearly charging at him with intent to kill, but he was so darn slow, Music Man was able to walk away and find himself for the 37th time. This time, not only did he find what he needed, but what the mustache foe really needed as well. This'll put your mind at ease, my dude. Pictures of Spider-Man? How did you know? Omni-Man felt so much better since that day. No murder, the end. So yeah, that's the story. I hope you, yep, that's it. I hope you generally get the gist of frantic fanfic now. It's a pretty fun time where you toss part of a wacky narrative to someone else and see what they can come up with. But with that said, that crossover was a bit simple from a character standpoint, right? Ooh, Megamind and Omni-Man, what a crazy combination. I mean, they're both superhero adjacent characters, so it's not all that outlandish. I'll tell you what is though, this next story, which is an all-time classic in my friend group. I think the character combination really gets across just how much you can tell a story that brings any two people together. Anyone you can imagine. This one is entitled Reagan Gets In Too Deep, which is a crossover between Reagan Arataka from Mob Psycho 100 and only the most iconic Disney character of all time. The one, the only, Fish Lady from Encanto. You know, the lady in We Don't Talk About Bruno who sang, "He told me my fish would die the next day dead." She finally gets to meet Reagan Arataka. That's what you've all been waiting for. In this one, I actually wrote the final act, while Jess wrote Act 2, and Act 1 was written by Hootie G, also known as... Yeah, maybe I just wanted to share some of Patrick's writing by making these videos. Alright, let's get started with Patrick's Act 1. He told me my fish would die the next day dead. I see. Your fish has not perished from natural means, but instead they were cursed by a physic. Hear me, citizen. I, Reagan Arataka, will revive your fish with my messitic powers. Just return here tomorrow and they'll be good as new. She leaves. This fish is dead as shit, mob. Let's get... Act 2 by Jess starts now. A new one and tell her it's alive or something, lol. Just Indiana Jones swap 'em. Master, that doesn't sound very ethical. Also, why did you bring a dead fish to my driving lesson? How about we stop talking for a little while?
Later.
Hey mob, that's the wrong way! You turn left to get to the pet store! Like how that fish left this plane of existence? Jeez, you've gotten so morbid after Dimple ran away to live on a farm. They walk into the pet store. Internet sex symbol Reagan Arataka. Hello ma'am, we would like to procure one of your finest fish. Uh-oh. Why hello Mr. Arataka. Didn't think I'd see you here at my part-time job. Made any progress on uncursing my fish yet? You should tell her the truth, master. Right, yes. So ma'am, the truth is... Act 3 by me starts now. It's a big one. Fish Lady looks at Reagan innocently and happily. The truth is, I think your fish deserves its own fish friend. You know, to help acclimate it into being alive again and stuff. What a wonderful idea. Here's the last fish I have in stock today.
I gotta find my son Nemo!
We'll take it. Master, now what? We don't have a replacement fish, and now we have this other fish we don't need. Plus, that was the only pet store in all of Japan. Looks like we have no choice, mob. We'll have to use this fish as live bait in order to attract other fish that looks exactly like the fish that lady had that died. But master, this fish is bigger than the one she had. It won't work as bait. Come on, mob, of course it'll work. Small animals pick fights they can't win all the time. Like how you do with giant spirits. I'm gonna pretend I didn't hear that. Now let's fish! They put the clownfish on the hook and tried fishing. Nothing happened all day. Oh yeah, I forgot. There's no fish in this pond. Mob, what the shit? We're out of time! Hi! Did you get my fish alive? In his confusion, Reagan accidentally swung the fish hook around and knocked Fish Lady in the head, killing her. Mob and Reagan stared for a few seconds. Oh shit. Oh cool, it worked! I can see my fish again! Yeah, she was trying to say thank you, but I ran out of time to type that. So that's the story of how Fish Lady was reunited with her fish. I'm pretty fond of that one. Alright, before we continue on with the epic fanfics, let me tell you about an epic crossover between Square and Space. I think you know where I'm going with this. Squarespace is an amazing online website builder that enables you to create beautiful websites for your business or personal hobby. Start a completely personalized website with the new guided design system, Squarespace Blueprint. There are so many professionally curated layout and styling options you can use to craft a unique online presence tailored to your brand or business, and optimized for every device. Easily launch your website and get discovered fast with integrated, optimized SEO tools, so you show up more often to more people and grow the way you want. Running a business is so easy with Squarespace thanks to their simple but powerful payment tools. Accept credit cards, PayPal, and Apple Pay. And in eligible countries, offer customers the option to buy now and pay later with Afterpay and ClearPay. These seamless checkout options allow you to easily sell exclusive content on your site. And so does the ability to add a paywall to sell memberships or courses, or sell files your customers can download, like PDFs, music, or ebooks. Check out squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/ShapeForAList to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or domain. Okay, now for the third and final installment of this video, not counting the little surprise I have at the end. This fanfic is entitled Love is an Open Door is Not a Roy I Song featuring Obama. As the name implies, this story features a crossover between the 44th President of the United States, Barack Obama, and of course, Edward Elric from Full Metal Alchemist. Also, there are a bunch of Frozen characters in this. It'll all make sense in a second. The writers for this fanfic are coincidentally the exact same as the last one, in the exact same order. I should also mention that whoever writes the first round for a fic is also the person who obviously picks the characters in it, and they get to create the title. So good job, Patrick. That's not how you spell Roy, but that's fine. I would have gotten it wrong too. Let us begin. The prompt is Frozen, so that's why the plot is going to include Elsa. She is fighting off Centaural City forces because they are trying to encroach on her Frigrid ice castle. Fewer Obama calls Ed and Al to his office to discuss this grave threat. Let me be clear, Full Metal. I'm gonna need you to use metal bending, or whatever doohickery you utilize, and metal bend this nuke to Elsa's castle. We can't drone strike it without you because of the snowstorm ruining our targeting system. Mr. Obama, doesn't nuking them seem a bit extreme? Now for Act 2 by Jess. Yeah, brother and I swore never to kill anybody. My, fellow Amestrian, you don't have to kill her. Just use the nuke to blow the castle open so we can get in. And then we'll kill her. Seriously? Mr. Fewer President, there has to be a better way to resolve this. Fine, I'll contact my military strategist. Bring in Officer Olaf. Oh, look at that, I'm a tactician. What should we do, Unfunny Snowman? Let's go convince her to let us in song form. Oh, Elsa, please open the door. Elsa, please open the door! No. Act 3 by me now. Well, I've done all I can do. You're fucking useless, Olaf. Okay, there's gotta be something we can do to stop Elsa without killing her. I've got it, brother! Ice is weak to fire in Pokemon, right? I don't know. I haven't played Pokemon in a while since the buttons on my DS are too big for my metal fingers. You're right. I know someone who can give us some firepower. Roy Mustang bursts in and the audience cheers. All right, Elsa. In the name of Fewer Obama, come out now. Or what? I'll burn your palace to the ground. He's serious. Look, I don't want to hurt the hostage I picked up, but I will if you don't go away. You have a hostage? Yeah, her name is Riza Hawkeye or something. What? Roy goes full blast and destroys Elsa's palace and Elsa without a second thought. It's like what he did to Envy, except Elsa dies way faster, LMAO. Thank you for saving me, but I have to kill you now for going too far. But I was in goblin mode. Okay, that checks out. You did it, Roy Mustang. I'm giving you the Presidential Medal of Honor for your heroic deeds. You are the hero of America Land. Yeah. The end. I hope you enjoyed this harrowing tale filled with suspense and intrigue and, the snowman from Frozen was there. What was his name again? Trent. Now you'd think this would be the end, now that I've served you the 3 main courses of this fancy fanfic feast. But my friends, I hope you've saved room for dessert, because there's one more tasty little morsel I'd like to serve you. You see, I just read you 3 quote-unquote normal fanfics, written with the standard rule set where each player gets a couple minutes to write their part. Usually it's 3 minutes for round 1, 4 minutes for round 2, and 5 minutes for round 3, with the extra minute being added, obviously so each player has time to read the previous parts. But that's not the only way to play the game. Let me introduce you to the Sonic round, which is not just regular Frantic Fanfic, but with Sonic characters. You can just play that with a normal rule set. Nah. This is the super speedy version, where instead of 3 minutes, the first player only gets 10 seconds to write something. The second player then gets 13 seconds, and the third player gets 16 seconds. Yeah, so as you can imagine, these are a lot worse than the already pretty terrible ones we just went over. So allow me to read you one final fanfic, constructed within the confines of the Sonic rule set. This story is entitled Ikara Kakuni, and it is a crossover between Rakakuni from Everything Everywhere All at Once and the bird that carries you over a disproportionately small gap from Undertale. So you just know this is gonna be good. It was written by Jess, then Jonathan, then me. I'm not gonna tell you where each one of our parts begins and ends, because that would just break up the flow. It's way too short for any interruptions. Okay, here we go. Fly with me, Rakakuni. Let us soar. Soarin', flying. There's a star. Oh no, it robbed Rargoni. He fell in the oven. No. No. So yep. That's the story. Please let me know if you like this video, because I have enough of these damn things to make many more of these videos. And I also had a blast putting this one together. And if this game sounds up you and your friend's alley, definitely give it a try. It's really fun, and I'm glad I could potentially introduce a lot of people to it. That is all. Good night, America Land.